So, do you guys know that feeling that you get where as soon as you wake up, or maybe you do like a nice, clean, deep meditation, your mind feels clear and you feel almost like you feel clean, like your mind is quiet, your mind is focused. That's what I want to talk about in this video. Iman Gaji has his monk mode protocol. Alex Becker has his nightmare mode protocol. I'm I'm going to kind of merge them into my own thing. I don't hardly have a name for it yet, but I'm gonna call it digital fasting as of right now as a placeholder. Guys, this is super important. Making your life boring with spurts of fun, high dopamine excitement is, I think, really the best of both worlds. And I want to cover that in this video. Because if you listen to Charlie Morgan's advice or Sam Evans' advice, or, again, those are great guys. They're killers, right? But if you just cut off all your friends and you go into social isolation and you never go on Instagram or Facebook or YouTube ever again, you're not going to make any friends. And ultimately, it's going to have a negative effect on your life for the most part. There might be some exceptions, but for the most part, if you just completely isolate yourself and you remove yourself from the rest of the world, in the long term, it might not be the most healthy thing for you. So I want to talk about digital fasting, how you can live like a monk, but still you're able to enjoy your life. Because if you're not having fun, if you're not recharging and like really, oh, the mouse is on top of my forehead. If you don't feel like you're having fun and you're recharging, you're living life to its full extent, to its fullest potential, even if you're in a building phase, then it's gonna come crashing down. You're not gonna be happy. You're gonna be miserable, and you're not gonna have a good time. So this is my version of how to blend the two to really kind of peak and achieve the most you could possibly achieve, but still live a really fun, enthusiastic, and fun life. Okay. So it comes back to this feeling. When you first wake up in the morning, your mind is clear. We want to have that feeling as much as possible. Focus is that one thing that, again, if your goal is to become massively successful, scale, grow your business to 6, 7, 8 figures and beyond, 9 figures, etc., it's very important that you have a clean and clear mind. It all comes down to focus, okay? The difference between successful entrepreneurs and unsuccessful entrepreneurs largely come down to focus, largely. Of course, there's things we can't control. We can't control the market. We can't control timing. There's some things, the economy, there's some things outside of our control. What is in our control is our focus. We can control that. And the more we optimize for focus, the better results we're going to get. Focus is like a compounding machine where the more you focus, the more you get out. Okay? So there's nightmare mode, monk mode, deep work, and flow states. There's a lot of videos covering this subject, but this one's really more how to blend it all together so that you can live a high flow lifestyle. So your whole lifestyle is focused on deep work, it's focused on flow, and it's focused on having a very, very clear mind. Okay. All these protocols are designed to heighten and elevate focus. Digital fasting is how you get there at an accelerated rate. Okay. But most people go about it the wrong way. Right now, you probably have a bunch of crap in your mind. I mean, just take a second, just pause. How much do you have on your mind right now? Like, if I have a desk, let's use a metaphor, right? Let's say my desk, my mental desk, if it's cluttered, if you're thinking about why that girl won't text you back, or that TV show you're watching, or that video game you played like yesterday, or that invite you have this weekend, or the second business that you're working on, or whatever the chores that you have to do, like all these things that you have kind of piled on in your mind, this is your mental desk. And it's the equivalent of trying to run like a software company, whatever company you have, and you have like 50 tabs open on your browser. If you have 50 tabs open, your computer, the RAM, is going to get slowed down. A lot of you guys are really smart. A lot of you guys are very talented, but you have so many things on your mind. And again, it's not completely, I mean, look at the devices. They're completely meant to bombard us with notifications and all these things. Guys, it's very difficult to live a monk life. When I say monk, I don't mean spiritually or anything like that. I just mean like your mind is clear and it's very low stimulation. And that's what I want to talk about in this video. When you leave, I want you to kind of understand where I'm coming from so you can start to implement the same things in your life, okay? You have too much on your mind right now. What we want to do is do our 3 to 5 deep work sessions per day, but really have a calm mind, meaning you have very few things on your mind, very few programs running in the background. For example, like if you're watching a TV show, you're gonna subconsciously constantly be thinking about that TV show throughout your day. That That might be fine up to some point, but you don't want to be doing that consistently, constantly, because it's going to start to drain you. Okay. You want to have very few things. So let me actually run you guys through an exercise that I got from one of my mentors. I've been doing this exercise for years, and I do it every single time that I feel like there's just way too much on my plate. Every time I feel stressed, every time I feel overloaded and burdened with just so many things on my mind, I do this one exercise, which I'm going to show you guys right now. So this exercise, I call it the mental desk exercise. And I will actually want you guys, as you watch this video, to follow along with me, because if you can do this, this is going to be, like, trust me, it's going to help you be way more productive. Okay, this is what we do for our clients. So the mental desk exercise, I always put something like delete later. And most of the time, I'll either do it in Google Docs or I'll do it on my phone in the Notes app. It doesn't really matter. You can also do it by hand. I usually do it on Google Docs or I do it on my phone, and then I literally delete it after. Yeah, okay, so what you want to do, and I'm not gonna do the entire exercise right now because it's gonna be way too long. What you want to do is take a few minutes, 4, 5, 6 minutes, and for those 6 minutes, what you want to do is you want to write down everything that's on your mind. And I literally mean everything. Like, just write down as many things as you can, right? So you would do like a little bullet point, right? And I'll give you a few examples. I'm gonna do myself. Um, for example, I'm thinking about Sunday plans. It just came to my mind. Like, you don't want to put much thought into this. Just jot down just do a brain dump is really what you're doing. You could also call it a brain dump exercise. Okay, I saw Spider-Man last weekend. You know, the Spider-Man movie that just came out, whatever. It's on my mind. Let's just say, what am I gonna eat tonight? What am I gonna do? Like, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do tonight? Whatever. Gym later today. I have to go to the gym. You know, work pending that I have to do, and you're just gonna write down as much as you possibly can, right? And just brain dump. You know, that conversation you had with your mom, that conversation you had, you know, with your partner, that conversation you had with your friend, whatever's on your mind. Like, everything, you just want to jot it down. Okay, and ideally, and you want to keep going until there's nothing else that you can think about. And it's okay, you might repeat it, you might put the same thing kind of twice. You really just want to get all of it out until there's literally like nothing else on your mind. Okay? That's what you want to do. And then when you're done, you know, and again, if some of these things are chores that are pending, what I usually do is I either, like, let's just say gym later today. I'm gonna put 3 p.m. I'll schedule it in. I'll put it on the calendar, and then I'll check it off. Right? I'll go ahead and I'll go like that, and then I'll check it off. Most of the things on here are like completely pointless, right? So, thinking about my Sunday plans, maybe tonight at 6, I'll create my Sunday plans, right? And then I won't have to think about it anymore. You know, this is just stupid thoughts, so I can just cross these off and go one by one. And then you can kind of like, for example, if you need to go to the post office, okay, schedule it in, do it Thursday, or put it on an Asana list. If you're gonna do it later, just do it sometime later, sometime next week. Okay, schedule it in. This helps just clear the load and like just decompress all the thoughts. I've done this exercise for like 5 or 6 years. And the more things that are on my mind, the more stressed that I am. If it's less than 30 things, typically it means I'm kind of in a relaxed state. I'm not that like loaded. If it's more than like 45, then you have a lot of crap on your mind. Okay? And you want to just completely get rid of it. Like that Instagram reel that you saw yesterday, you might want to put it here, right? Like whatever's on your mind, whatever comes to mind. You don't want to judge yourself. You just want to do this. It's so helpful. And then what I'll do after is I'll just delete it, and that's it. Because it doesn't help. Why keep it there after you're completely done? This has helped me tremendously. And you might be thinking, Marcos, how does this help me make more money? Well, dude, if you have more focus, you're going to perform better because you want your mind completely clear. Okay, you want to declutter your mental desk. Okay, you want to have as few things in your mind as possible while you're working. You want to be completely clear. Just doing your work blocks, taking breaks, and in the 21st century, we are constantly being bombarded with news, stories, dopamine craze, drama, notifications, TV shows. You open social media, there's group chats, there's TV. All of a sudden, your focus is elsewhere, right? Like if you go, and this is the example I give, and this is just random stuff, but if you finish a work block and then you check social media, this is what you're going to be thinking about. You're going to see a bunch of posts, new GTA 6 update. There's a post. LeBron's comment last night, you know, with this new team. Some football trade happened in the NFL. There's an update on politics, on whatever drama is going on at the time. There's influencer beef on X or on Twitter. There's that girl from high school who went backpacking in South America, and you're looking at that. Someone in the family is pregnant. Congratulations. This is what you see on social media. It's stuff like this. So and so got married. A random video game that you played 10 years ago, you're reminded that it even exists, right? Call of Duty 1. Like all these things. That show you used to watch like 15 years ago, 10 years ago, a new update, Game of Thrones, whatever. So now you're thinking about all these things subconsciously in the background. So your next deep work session, guess what? Now you're going to have to like fight all of this crap that you just put in. It's literally the equivalent of there's dirt, it rained, it's mud. You throw yourself in the mud and then you come back to your desk. You have all this mud all over you. You don't want to do that. You want to be clean, right? Meditation is how you shower, you clean, and then doing that exercise, it helps do that as well. Okay, but you want to have a clean mind. So during your work sessions, like let's say you work from 6 to 4, whatever. That's your work time. From 6 to 4, you want to make it as boring, as low stimulation as possible. Okay, it's okay to check social media after work, right? Ideally, maybe even less than that, maybe just a few times a week. But at the very least, you don't want to be going through these things in between work blocks and during your work hours, because your brain, the amount of dopamine, the amount of chemicals you're going to be hit with, it's enough to it's enough to just completely wreck and ruin your day and just fill your mind with all this crap. What you want to do is, if you lived in the woods, right? Like if you lived in the woods or in the countryside, everything was nice and peaceful, there was no Wi-Fi, your brain would be super calm, your mind would be super calm. We're not evolved for all this stimulus. You don't need to know about any of these things while you're working. After you're working, if you want to check whatever you want to check, that's your prerogative. But while you're working, you want to make sure that you don't do this. And it's very tempting, especially during breaks. Like during breaks, what do you want to do? You want to go on walks? And Alex Becker's nightmare mode is very simple, right? I'll make a separate video on that. But it basically came down to doing 3 things. You're allowed to do 3 things. You're allowed to work, you're allowed to study, or you're allowed to stare at a wall. And then you're also allowed, obviously, to hang out with your partner or whatever. That's all you're allowed to do for like 30 days or 2 weeks or whatever the time is that you're in nightmare mode for. Okay? That forces you to have no dopamine stimulation, have to do a complete dopamine detox. So what you guys want to do is to be as productive as you possibly can. Again, and I'll talk about how to balance this in a second, because this is not something you can do forever. You want to have one tab open, not 15 other tabs. Okay, and guys, the other thing too is your brain is going to be pinging you. Okay, have you ever like watched, you got a good amount of work done but got distracted by I don't know, like a YouTube video, hopefully not this one, and then all of a sudden your brain was kind of pinging you like, oh, watch another YouTube video, watch another one, or scroll another reel, or like let's check Instagram just real quick. It'll start to like crave the instant gratification. You gotta watch out for that. You want to be very, very careful. Again, your brain, a lot of videos on dopamine detoxing and the dopamine effects that it has. Digital fasting is what you want to do. Okay, digital fasting is that cheat code to focus in a modern world. You want to make your life, again, you want to like almost contrast it, right? So in one sense, you want to make your life super boring. Like most of your life should be super boring. Okay, and I mean that genuinely. And I mean that in the sense of like you don't have anything on your mind, it's clean, like you're about to focus on work. However, you also want to have the shifts also make it super fun at the same time, because you need to recharge. So what I'd highly recommend is once a week, whether Saturday, Sunday, don't follow any of this stuff, and at least take one day off of work and then do whatever you want. Okay, so go on Instagram all you want, travel, have fun, go on a little day trip, go to the beach, have a good time. If you're into partying, whatever your thing is. The point is you mentally recharge, because if your life is always boring, you're going to hate your life. You can't make your life boring all the time. You can't be working all the time. It's just not realistic. And if you are working all the time, your work efficiency is going to drop so low that you're not going to be productive. It's counterintuitive at that point, unless you're like an Elon Musk and you're the 1% of the 1% who doesn't need to listen to this stuff. But for most people, if you work 12 hours a day, Monday through Friday, well, guess what? You're going to need to recharge. So instead of, what most people do is they kind of like on the weekends or or whatever their off day is, they kind of half work and then half recharge. You don't want to do that. Just take a full day to recharge. Every month, what you want to do every month is once or twice a month, you want to do something extremely fun, extremely engaging, whether it's like a little road trip or a little backpack hike, or maybe a beach day. You For like those 1 or 2 days, you want to. And the way I discovered this and the way I kind of put this together, it was something for me personally, because I had struggled with sleep for a really long time, and obviously with sleep, you want to go to bed at the same time every single day. So if your bedtime is 10 p.m., you want to sleep at 10 p.m. The way your chemicals can kind of get in sync. But what happens with your social life? What happens if you want to go out or something like that? Then you can't go to sleep at 10 p.m. Whatever. So the solution is very simple. Like, go to bed at the same time every day, but maybe once, twice, or 3 times a month. Allow yourself to break it, and allow yourself to break it really good. So you kind of like get it out of your system, and then you kind of come back to normal. Okay, so if you go to bed at 9 p.m. every single night and you wake up at 5 a.m. on a Friday night, once or twice or 3 times a month, like, do whatever you want, and then watch a movie and then go to bed at 3 a.m. And then what's going to happen is it might take a day or two to recover from that, but that's fine because you need some rest. Okay, you need some rest. What you don't want to do is you don't want to be in the middle. And in the middle is what people try to do. They try to balance everything. They try to live a normal life and they're not focused and they're not relaxing at the same time. You want to, during most of the day, be super focused, like just a laser. And then maybe like the last 3-4 hours of the day, you're hanging out with your partner or whatever, you're kind of winding down, then you can kind of relax a little bit more. Okay. And once a week, you can kind of just have a full blown, like, do whatever you want. And then during the week, just be laser focused. These two things, this is how you're able to do it consistently for long periods of time without burning out, without feeling completely exhausted. So this is what you want to do. You want to completely stay out of the loop of news. Don't follow news. Completely, like, get yourself away from drama and current events. No social media during work hours. No social media between work blocks or before 6:30. After 6:30, you're a little more lenient there. You would have no self entertainment for like the hours you're working. You want them to be the most boring as you can possibly. No video games. No pointless browsing on the computer. You want to remove clutter. You want to remove just random things on your desk, random things in your office, random things in your room. You want to organize your business and minimize your life priorities. Okay, so if you have multiple conflicting priorities in your life, just narrow it down to 1 or 2 for the time being. Again, you want to use things that protect, like, for example, Unhook is a Chrome extension that allows you to not see YouTube. Highly recommend getting Unhooked. That way you don't constantly remove the newsfeed eradicator on some of these, Instagram and Facebook, etc. Of course, if you need to work on Facebook for Facebook ads or Instagram for clients and posting, that's a different thing. But you want to do that ideally on the desktop, not on the phone. For the phone, you want to turn it black and white. You can put it grayscale, and then it drastically reduces the addiction to your phone. And you want to obviously keep your screen time on there as minimal as possible. Delete apps, have it bare bones as much as you possibly can. This is how you have a clean mind. You have a clean mind, and you're able to balance both worlds at the same time, just not simultaneously. You want to do one completely, then the other completely. You don't want to stay in the middle. You want to do one first and then the other, not at the same time. That's how you have a completely clean mind. This is how mega successful entrepreneurs operate. If you look at like Sam Ovens, Alex Becker, Charlie Morgan, and a bunch of other people, this is what they do. Their mind is completely clear. There's no clutter. They're able to completely focus. And that makes them a dangerous entrepreneur. Guys, your competition, they can't do this stuff. It's one thing to watch it in a video. It's another thing to live it completely. If you're able to do this for 6 months and just focus and like be not addicted to your phone, not addicted to social media, not addicted to self-entertainment, and you're able to live like a boring life and then have fun later, you're going to be able to do it consistently for really, really long periods of time, for years. And that's how you're going to get ahead of everybody. Because what most people do is they're completely inconsistent. They have one good day and then like another bad day. You want to be completely consistent with it. I recommend the mental desk exercise. Do it right now after the video, or pause it, whatever. Once you're making more than like 20 or 25K a month, at that point, you can get an assistant to, do simple chores for you, run errands. You're going to always have some errands to run, grocery shopping, Just errands that pop up, health insurance, you have to call them, your car insurance, you have to call the company, like just stuff like that. Once you're at that level, obviously we recommend that, but this is not what the video is about. You just want to make your life simple and boring, okay? But at the same time, you want to make it also really fun and exciting. Once a week, do something fun. And this is kind of my other point too, is like, guys, when it's your off day, try to do something fun. We need fun, okay? Why are you doing this in the first place? Like, why are you working so hard in the first place? Is it not to have a more fulfilling life? Is it not to, on some level, it comes down to fun. The reason you're working so hard is because you want to have fun. You want to have a better life. You want to have a higher quality of life. What I don't recommend is on your off day. Like, again, some people are different. Some people just want to relax, and that's fine. Every once in a while, that's fine. But I don't recommend like just doing nothing and just kind of sitting at home staring at a wall on your Sunday or your Saturday, whatever your off day is. What I do recommend is going all out, like have fun, like go out, do something new, explore, rent a boat and then just, I don't know, just drive in the ocean, just figure it out. Just do something fun that's actually going to get you excited about life. And when you come back, they're like mini vacations. You want to have these mini vacations where they're like 24 hours, you have a really good time, but you come back, you feel pumped up, you feel recharged, you feel excited. That is going to help you long term more than anything else. You want to be able to do those things, okay? Don't just have like a boring weekend where like nothing eventful happened. And again, I'm not saying you have to like get drunk and do a bunch of drugs. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying have fun, have a good time. So that by the time you get back, what happens with humans and what happens with us is like, if you ever played The Sims, I've never played The Sims, but I know a few people who played it, and Alex Becker talks about this a lot. Like your body has multiple what's it called, like life bars. Like for example, in The Sims, you have money is like a bar. If it's green, you're good. If it's like red, it's lacking. If it's yellow, it's in the middle. So in life, you have energy, you have hunger, right? You have sleep, you have all these things. But one of the bars is a social bar, meaning if you just go out and go to a party, you socialize, you have a great time, it's now filled up to green. If it's been 6 months since you had another, human conversation, it's going to be in red. And what happens to a lot of entrepreneurs is they completely neglect some aspects of their life. Like family is another bar, right? If you hang out with your family, boom, now it's in green. If you haven't seen them in a year, it's going to suffer. If you have these bars out of balance, it's going to be very, very hard. Like love is another one. If you don't have some sort of like relationship and it's been a year since you even like had a partner, like it's gonna really weigh down your ability to focus, your ability to excel, and your ability to live a happy life. And it's all connected. Okay. So as a 7, 8, 9 figure entrepreneur, when it's your off days, take care of these things and have fun. That way your bars can constantly be on green. Okay, that's how you do a digital fast. You're not online, but you have one day a week to actually like indulge and recharge, get it out of your system, and then go back to it. Okay, that's the title of the video. That's the lesson in the video today. It's very simple, guys, but it's very profound. And you want to find what works for you. Find what works for you. Don't just copy this stuff. Again, I didn't copy Sam or Charlie. You want to reinvent it based on your personality and your personal needs. Okay. Guys, that's going to end the video. Our offer is, perform like an 8+ figure entrepreneur in 60 days, or you don't pay. If you're not performing like an 8 figure entrepreneur, we'll get your performance to that level where you're operating 95% of your full potential within 60 days. If you're not, then you get a full 60-day money back guarantee. We have a money back guarantee and a performance guarantee. So if you're not crushing it by the end of 60 days, it's completely free. And that way we actually have you hire your own performance and accountability officer, literally a position in your company where that person, their main job is to keep you focused, make sure you are living this way like a complete monk, and your brain is completely clean at all times so you can focus on the most important things in your business, okay? 1 week free trial, then $250 a month. Cancel anytime. Again, that's not for everybody, but it might be for like 10% of the people watching this video. If you want help with this stuff, we'll be there below. Again, it's free to start, but of course, you can execute this on your own as well. So guys, I'll see you in the next video and appreciate you. Thank you so much.